am going live with Deanna from the Points Fly Girl, and we're here to talk about our new Points and Miles Masterclass called Mad Miles Masterclass. It's basically going to be a great opportunity for you to dive into finally learning how to travel more for less on Points and Miles. So over the last couple of days, we've been collecting questions from you guys, and I have them all here. But if you are joining us live, please do feel free to ask questions. And that's what we're doing here. The whole point of this is to answer your questions, to make sure that you feel super pumped and excited about joining us for the Mad Miles Masterclass. So Deanna's going to be joining here in a few minutes, but in the meantime, while we wait for her to come on, basically I'm going to just be going through the questions that people have already asked. But like I said, if you have time to ask some of your own questions live, then please feel free to do that. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and hopefully she'll be able to join us here in a couple of minutes. I'm not sure what is going on with the tech, but it keeps saying that she's not able to join. So basically, I'm going to just run through these questions. Like I said, if you have any live questions, please add them in here. But if you do not, then we got 17 questions to go through that I got in the last week. So it's quite a lot. So the first one is, what if my credit score isn't perfect? Can I still do this? Yes, you can start using rewards travel kind of at any point you are in your credit score journey. It is usually recommended that you have a credit score that is above 700. You want to have a good to excellent credit score to be able to guarantee that you're going to get approved for the cards that you want. But if you do have a lower credit score than that, there can be some opportunities for you to build your credit score. Your timeline might be a little bit slower or different than some other people's, but it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that you'll be able to do this, even if you have a bit of a lower credit score. But yeah, if you're around 700 or higher, you want a good to excellent credit score usually to get started, but please message us if you are lower than that or if you're on the fence, because we can definitely talk to you about strategies to help get your credit score up a little bit, or to help you build your credit a little bit more so you'll be in a better place to get started with rewards travel. The next question is, do I need a bunch of credit cards for this to work? You do not need a bunch of credit cards for this to work. You can basically choose to open as many cards as you feel comfortable with. Some people, especially those that you might see on Instagram who are influencers in Points and Miles, they might be opening credit cards every 30 to 90 days. That probably sounds pretty aggressive to people who are brand new to this or who 1 to 2 trips a year. Maybe you are beholden to PTO, or you have kids or something like that, and you can't just like jet off whenever you want. Like, I totally understand that. That's my life. Deanna is a full-time worker as well. She's a lawyer. Hey, girl.
Hey.
I told everybody
So
we're having
sorry.
some tech issues, so I just started answering some of the questions.
Okay. I'm good now. I'm good now.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so if you are only planning on taking like a couple of vacations a year, maybe 1 to 2 or something like that, you don't need to be opening credit cards like every, 30 days, every 90 days or anything like that. You can just do it as you feel comfortable. It's basically, you can be as accelerated or decelerated as you feel comfortable with. And you really only need to earn the points that you're planning to use. The one thing that's kind of important to understand in this hobby is that the banks are in charge, and they can change the rules whenever they want. So a lot of things can happen with your points getting devalued or things like that. So you want to use them once you get them. So there's not really a lot of benefit to having hundreds of thousands of points just sitting in your account. So if you know that you only need, say, 100,000 points to make that dream vacation happen this year, then that's all you have to earn. And you can get that with one welcome bonus from one card. So no, you don't have to open a bunch of credit cards for this to work. You can go as fast or as slow as you feel comfortable.
And
So yeah,
and that was Yeah, and that was something I wanted to add. I want everybody to know, like, that's one of my biggest things, and I'm sure you too, Mary, is like, I want everybody to be comfortable when they do this. We're not going to be pushing anybody. Well, you need to order, you need to get into more cards. You need to do this. Number one, like, we don't want you to be irresponsible. Number two, we don't want you doing any more than you can handle.
Totally.
So we're very much going to help you get as many points that can help you get as far as you can and within your comfort level.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I was saying before you came on is that you and I are both not full-time travelers. So, most of the people I think we talk to in general are also not full-time travelers. So it's not realistic that you're going to maybe just like drop everything and leave on a like fabulous trip tomorrow. You have some advanced planning that needs to happen. And that's kind of perfect for this hobby. If you are somebody who's a little bit more planful, you can absolutely do last minute trips and get deals that way. But if you're like, oh, I want to travel in the summer, or I want to travel maybe like around the holidays or something like that, you can plan that like 6 months, a year in advance. Some people even are planning further ahead than that. So yeah, you definitely don't have to be someone who's like, oh, I need to travel 24/7 for this to be something that works for you. Um, okay, so then the next question about the course is, what is the time commitment? So we're going to be doing live classes every week. The length of the live will sort of depend on the module that we're on and how much we have to cover. You are not required to be on live. Everything is going to be recorded, and you will get the recordings within 24 hours after they're recorded. It is to your benefit to be on the live recording because you'll get to ask questions live, and you'll be with the other members of the pilot group. So you'll get to bounce things off of them in addition to us. You'll get to kind of hear what trips they're planning and the strategies that we might offer to them. So it is a benefit to you to be on live, and we will work with the pilot group to choose times where each week where people will be able to be available. But if you're not available and you just want to watch the replays, you can totally do this as well. It's totally up to you. So the time commitment is kind of up to you. You'll get more out of it the more you put in. So if you do have the time to join us live, then you're going to get the most benefit from that. There's not going to be homework or anything like that, aside from thinking about like, where do you want to go? What is your dream vacation? And maybe you don't know. Maybe you're just like, I want to chase a deal. I'm hoping to get like a really great deal to Europe, or I really just want to go somewhere warm, and that's totally okay too. Or maybe you're like, I'm dying to go to Australia. So that'll be like the homework from this will be like, where do you want to go and how can we help you figure out the strategy of like getting there, basically.
Yeah, and I think one of the great things about having the live group is it's going to be a smaller group. They're going to have us live, and then if you guys tell us like, "Hey, this is what we're interested in looking for," we can kind of we can do that. We can explore different options, and we can kind of steer a little bit more if a few people are like, "Hey, I'm trying to look for Europe trips," and then we can even go through practicing. This is how we would look for a Europe trip and things like that. And a big thing about this pilot group is we want you guys to help us help you. So if something's not being fully explained or there's not a module on something that you guys want, we can add that on. And then you guys will definitely be welcome. Every time we're going to be filming something, you'll be invited to see it live, or if you want to watch the recording later, you can. But that's a huge benefit of being part of this pilot group.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like I said earlier, things kind of can change every so often in this hobby as well. So as things do change, we will be updating the modules and we'll be adding kind of like mini courses on. So if there's something really big that comes out, some big news or something you need to know about, or like some destination all of a sudden starts trending, we're definitely going to be adding more content on those, and those will be available to the pilot group and other people who are in the masterclass as well. So it's definitely a benefit for you to join now to get the knowledge and then get all the info on future things that are going to come out too. Okay, so next question is this worth it if I don't travel a lot? So yes, I kind of touched on that a little bit before, but like I said, Deanna and I are both full-time workers. So we're not traveling constantly either. For my family, we're taking like 1 to 3 trips a year, maybe some long weekends here and there, but our 7 to 10 day trips are going to typically be maybe like 2 a year. So we've still been able to get tremendous value and really bolster our budget and make it stretch a lot further by being in the points and miles space and doing this hobby. So yes, if you're not going to be traveling all the time, you can still really get a great value out of learning how to work with points and miles and learning how to make those stretch for either just you vacationing or you and a partner or you and your family. And there are people who travel with points and miles with literally like many family members, like families of 6. I am currently planning a trip to Italy for 2026 with, there are 11 of us in my family who are going to be going. So it's going to be a lot, and we're all trying to get there together with points and miles. So you know, absolutely can do it even if you aren't traveling all the time, even if you have a lot of people you're traveling with, even if you are traveling solo. So it's kind of like goes as far as what you can imagine, basically. So if you're creative and you're imaginative, this is definitely the hobby for you. It's going to be really fun for you to kind of figure out how the puzzle pieces fit together, how you can find the best deal that you feel good about, and how you can really make sure that it works best for you. So I think Deanna might be frozen. Let me see if we can get her to come back in. I'm not sure if she dropped off. Oh, there we go. Hey, did
Sorry,
you drop
guys.
off?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but thank you. You
No worries.
continue.
I was like, I think you were frozen because I was like, she doesn't seem like she's
I
talking
was,
anymore. I think she's
no, I
frozen.
saw my face like,
It's never a dull moment with the technology, right? You just have no idea what to expect.
yeah.
But the one I just answered was, is it worth it if you don't travel a lot? So do you want to add anything to that?
No, I heard your answer, and I think that that's worth it. And I think, we kind of touched on this in the beginning too, right? We both work full time. I think that's kind of the misconception. Some people think that everybody on Instagram, just does this
That
full time. We
would
do
be nice.
not. Yeah. I am subject to PTO, right? I have things that I need to do. I have certain days that I need to be in court and things like that. So, we totally understand that there are restrictions, but yes, it's definitely worth it because we can show you ways that you're going to spend, God, what, like maybe 1/10 the amount of money you would normally spend on a trip. And then you would also be able to stay in like higher luxury, just depending on your comfort level, right? The more points you have, the further it can go. And then we can work with that. But yeah, the less you travel, then the nicer your vacations can be and the more people you can bring, right?
Yeah, totally. Right? If you're stockpiling those points, then you can get a lot further too.
uh
Okay, we did just get a live question, so I want to answer this one. It says, could there be a module regarding 524? I feel sick that I'm most likely going to be cut from the 100K offer because I won't be below 524 until this July. Okay,
mhm.
so for those of you who have no idea what this means, that's totally okay. This is a more intermediate question, and thank you so much for asking that question. Um, so one of the banks has a rule with their credit cards that is related to how many personal credit cards you can have opened in a 24-month period that will make them willing or unwilling to approve you for future credit cards, basically. And the limit is 5. I don't know why they decided that, but that's what they decided. They don't want you to open more than 5 personal credit cards, not just from them, but from anybody, any other bank as well. Or yeah, they don't want you to open any more than 5 to get approved for their credit cards within a 24-month period. So this is something that we are going to have a module on. We're going to dive into this. Not only what does it mean, how can you make sure you're strategizing around it. A lot of people will strategize by going for the cards from that bank first when they are below what's called 524. So you might be at like a 124 or 224. Another strategy that we'll talk about is working with a player 2, which can be a spouse or a partner that you can work with. So you can kind of play off of each other if you have somebody who can be involved in doing this with you in that way, and you can manage your 524 status that way. Um, and we're also going to show you tools that can help you track your 524. But I do want to tell you, the person who put this in, this is not the only time this bank is going to do this. They don't do it that often, but they did do it 4 years ago. And if you had opened this card at that time, you would just now be eligible for that card again because they have a 48-month period that you can earn the sign up bonus for this particular card. So I bet you it will come around again, but there are many other ways to earn 100,000 points from this bank as well. And I can tell you, I'm always chasing points from this bank. They're some of my favorite points. So I know I'm being vague about what the bank name is, but we're not supposed to mention this bank's name on social media. If you are in the course, we of course will tell you what this bank is. And if you want to know what bank I'm talking about, please DM me or Deanna, because we can tell you in a DM, but we're not supposed to just like outwardly say the name of it because the bank doesn't like us to do that for compliance reasons.
Yeah.
So I'm
And
sorry if I sound really vague. I'm not doing that on purpose. We're just trying to not have the bank be mad at us. But yes, we are absolutely having a module on that, and it's going to encompass all the things about how to track it, to stay under it, to get player two involved, all the different things that you can do to make sure that you are paying attention to that status. But don't worry, hope is not all lost. If you are going to miss out on this current offer that just came out, this offer will come around again. Other offers like this come around on their other cards. So don't despair.
And the other thing is we do have a working list of what modules that we're going to have. So if you guys want to just DM me, or even, you know what, if you comment on this, just comment course. Once this live is over, and if you watch this later, I'll have an automatic DM set up. But if you want to just send me a DM course or comment course here, and then I'm going to send you guys the direct link so that you can see all of the information and see all of the modules, because it is a lot. If we were even to sit here and tell you everything in it, you're just going to get lost. And it'll show you everything that we're going through, and 5 of 24 is definitely on there. And again, because you're the pilot group, if you guys say, hey, why didn't you cover this, and we feel like it's important, then because that's what you're there for, then we can add on a whole new module for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for those of you who don't know our backgrounds, Deanna is a lawyer, so she is thorough. And my background is in digital marketing, so I work with a lot of tech stuff. So I'm really like a numbers cruncher. I'm all about research. Like, I want the data. I want to see the data points. I want to know that this has been proven. I don't want to be the first person who gets caught out doing the wrong thing. So you're kind of like locked up with us. We're both very like, analytically minded, making sure that things are going to be buttoned up, that you're not going to do, anything that is going to be risky. And you're also going to have like all of the angles and all of the information. And that's like another benefit of having the two of us on here as well, is that we kind of both have different perspectives. I'm a family traveler. Deanna is a luxury couples traveler. So no matter where you are in your travel journey with your own family, we've got you covered. We've done the trip. We've been there. We know how to do it. So it's kind of got something for everybody. And as you kind of change and move through your travel life, you might change how you travel. You might be traveling with, multi-generations at some point. You might decide to solo travel at some point. And we'll make sure that you know how to do all of it, no matter who is happening to come on the trip with you.
Yeah, and the other great thing about having two people is that you're going to have two perspectives. There's going to be a lot of things that we've gone through and we've seen and we agree on, but every once in a while, there's going to be something that I'm going to say, well, I think these points are better, or I think this is better. And I've told Mary, I actually love it, like if we disagree, because then we can give you guys 2 points of view, and I can tell you, this is why I think doing this is better. She'll tell you, this is why I think is doing this is better, and then you guys can decide. When you have just one instructor, right, you have one point of view. And I think having two people here, especially two different types of travelers and that have different mindsets, it's only going to be a benefit for you guys, because we're just going to be able to give you guys more information.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, the next question is, will I get to ask you questions directly? I think we totally just talked about that, so I'm going to go by that one. The
Oh,
next
and
one is,
then
oh,
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
I do want to add really quick. So yes, everybody's going to be able to ask questions directly, like during the course. If you're part of this pilot group, everybody's going to be able to ask questions during the course. But the intermediate class, if you complete the intermediate class, we are going to have a community. We haven't decided where we're going to host it, whether it, be Facebook or something like that. But we are going to have a community that you will always have access to, where you guys can ask questions, and we will be in there regularly answering questions as well. So that is a huge benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as you guys learn and grow, and you get a little bit dangerous with your skills, you'll be wanting to kind of like bounce things off of others who are in the same like learning level as you. So you'll have, your pilot group that you started with, that you'll be able to kind of like bounce things off of, that they have started and gone through with you, almost like a school cohort. So that'll be really nice too, because you'll be connecting with other travelers at the same time who are kind of in the same place as you are in their learning journey.
Exactly.
Okay, so the next one is, I've already opened a few cards. Will this still help me? I'm going to let you go because I feel like I've been just jumping in on all of them.
That's mostly my fault because of the technical difficulties.
No worries.
So Yes, for sure. I mean, no matter where you are in this journey, I guarantee you we are going to help because we can not only help you use the points that you already have, we can help you come up with a strategy and do more with with what your future plans are. I think learning a lot of the fundamentals because sometimes a lot of people, they open cards but then they don't realize there's going to be a lot of things that I guarantee you've never heard before that you didn't know that there's a better way to use this or that. But yeah, and then again, I feel like I'm a broken record with this, but you're going to be part of the pilot group. We're going through it and you say, well, this part didn't help me, what would help me is if you went over this. You can discuss that with us, and if we feel like it has merit, then yeah, we'll add on another course. We'll have the video, you'll be there and you'll be able to ask those questions. And then again, we're going to have that community as well where you'll be able to ask questions. And as part of the community, one of the things I want to do because we're both, frequent travelers on points and we love this stuff. We're obsessed with it. I know we're both just constantly looking around. We find deals, we see things, deals that we can't take, and our community is going to be the first ones to know about that. So if I find a really good deal, like I snagged a trip to from business class from LA to London for 29,000 points like 8 or 9 months ago, right? If I would have had this community, as soon as I booked that flight, I would be sending that out so all you guys can book it too. So it's going to be both. It's going to be learning the fundamentals, but it's also going to be learning the points that you have and how to make more about getting when you get more points and how to get more points if you do want to sign up for more credit cards or just maximizing and different ways to maximize with the cards that you have now.
Yeah, I booked that deal too, but we booked the economy version of it because four of us are going, but
Yeah.
6K points, which was amazing for a
So
one-way
cheap.
flight
Yeah.
to Europe. You can't beat it. But yeah, and if you tell us where you're going, we're gonna look out for that too. Like Deanna told
Mhm.
me that she wants to go to Oktoberfest this year. So like now whenever I'm like hunting, I'm like, ooh, let me see what we can get from West Coast to Germany.
Yeah.
So
That's
we're always
and
looking
yeah.
out for each other.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point too, because I'm West Coast and you're East Coast,
Yes.
right? And a lot of people, because I know when I first started Points and Miles, you would see all these deals to Europe and it was all East Coast. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to fly 5 hours and coach first. That wasn't what I wanted, right? I didn't want to reconnect over on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So and it is possible. At first, I was like, well, are there even a lot of deals from the West Coast? And there are. And so, whether you're Central, West Coast, I look Central too because sometimes I'll reposition from Central. But, one of us is, also focused on finding deals from the West Coast a bit more. And then one of us is a bit more focused on finding deals from the East Coast, although we do cross over. But I think that's another place where we differ and I think can add more value for our students as well.
Yeah, totally. No matter where you are, like one of us is kind of dealing with that side of the country, trying to figure out like how to get where we're going.
Yeah.
So we totally understand. It's not like we're both like living right next door to like LAX or JFK where you're gonna like, have access to like the most flights possible. We both have big international airports nearby, but you can't always get the exact flight you want from them. So you have
Yeah.
to be creative, which we've learned how to do, and we'll teach you how to do that too.
Yeah. And I just want to point out, I saw somebody commented this is a crazy good deal. And it is. I'm telling you guys, I know I'm biased because we're doing this course, but because it's a pilot course, this is our first time. We want to help as many people as possible. We want to have that live group to give us feedback. We are giving you guys such a crazy good deal right now. I promise you, this deal will never be back again. We're never going to give this much value for this little of a price, but we're giving you guys a break because you guys are going to be helping us out. And you guys are going to be the first group. We're going to get to know you guys. We're going to be helping you guys. Like our goal is to have you guys help us, and through that we want to help you. We want you to like reach all your travel dreams and do as much as you can with as comfortable as you are.
Yeah, I think also like if you're not really in the points and miles space yet, if you're like a beginner or something like that, this community of points and miles travelers is like you really become fast friends with each other because it's almost like speaking a foreign language together. It's kind of like we're all expats like living in America or something like that that we kind of all speak this like different language to each other, and I feel like I'm constantly like reaching out to my points and miles friends, like Deanna included, like, oh, I found this, what do you think of this, and I found that, what do you think
Mhm.
of that, and this deal came out, what do you think of that? So
Yeah.
you'll find really quickly that I think you're going to become fast friends with the people in the group, and you're going to be, bouncing ideas off of them, and of course asking us as well. And it's going to be like a really fun, good energy, like great sense of community if that's
Mhm.
something you're looking for too.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. Me and Mary actually met each other at a Points and Miles conference. We were both speakers at that conference, so that's how good we are. We were both speakers at a conference. Number
Yes.
one, that's just so you guys know, that's how good we are. So, but I mean, that's what we're going to conferences on Points and Miles. So, and I'm going back to Travel More this year. I'm going to be a speaker at Travel More, and not only do I speak, I go to all of the courses. And even me being I will say I am advanced. I know a lot of stuff, but nobody knows everything. And there's different points of view that you get from people too. And we're going to conferences, we're talking to people, we're learning things, and we are going to pass that on to you, right? If I go to a conference and I learn something new and I say, hey, this needs to be part of the module, we are going to record another video. If you're part of the pilot program, you are invited for life to attend any live videos that we're going to add to the main course. So you'll be invited to come, but you'll also have access to the recorded video later on.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question is, do you talk about hotel points too, or just flights? So we're going to talk about it all. There's several kind of different ways that you can earn points. You can earn hotel points, you can earn airline points, and you can earn what's called flexible points. The flexible points are typically what you're going to be earning with one of the bank programs that we touched upon a little bit at the beginning of this. Um, so we're going to be talking about all of those and how they can work together for a strategy. You may have a time where you are, trying to stay loyal to a specific hotel for a specific reason, and you might want to get those points. Same thing if you have a specific airline that kind of owns your airport, like I do. My main airport is Philadelphia. American Airlines is like the owner of Philadelphia. So I'm always on the hunt for more American Airlines points. They're a little bit they can be a little bit harder to earn because they don't currently have any transfer partners, which you'll also learn about in the course. But so there's a case for, talking about just hotel points or just airline points, but we're going to talk a lot about flexible points and what that means and how you can earn those and how those can help you go even more places if you can kind of, get that going.
Yeah.
Deanna's dog is so excited about this. The
I know
dog wants to
he
join.
is so
He's jazzed
excited.
up about
Yeah.
flexible points. I know it.
I know. But I think, yeah, so adding to that, we're going to be teaching you guys all the fundamentals. We're teaching about every single types of points. But I think the best part of it is we are going to be teaching you how to value points, how to decide what's best for you so that you can decide if you want to focus on hotel points, you want to focus on airline points, you want to focus on flexible points, which is what most people do. But, everybody has what's right for them. And then what to then transfer those to, what to use them on. Some are easier to use, but you get a little less value. Some are harder to use, but you're going to get more value. And there's a lot of ways that you can balance that. But the best thing is you're going to walk away from this knowing how to value that, knowing how to do the math on it, and knowing which one you should be focusing on. And quite honestly, we're just going to be teaching you everything about it so that you'll know which one that you want. And I know
Absolutely.
I saw somebody ask how much the course is because they just came in. And honestly, there's different prices for each one. So I'm going to send you a direct link after this. So I'll say it again. If you guys either DM me course or you comment course here, as soon as the live is over, I'm going to send you a direct link with all of the information on the course, including pricing.
Yeah, and or feel free to just drop your email addresses to us in a DM too if you forget about
Mhm.
course. Either one will work, and we'll send you over the info right away so you have it. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna be your interviewer a little bit. Okay, so this one is, what's the difference between the beginner and intermediate courses, and how do I pick which one is right for me?
So again, that's we do have an outline and you'll be able to see the modules so that you can look at and see what you want to learn about more. But I would say if to make it a little bit more simple, If you don't know what transferring points is, you don't know how to transfer points, you don't know how to value your points, then you're looking at the beginner level. If you know how to calculate the value of your points, if you are comfortable knowing about 5 of 24, and you've transferred your points before, you know what that is, and you know which transfer partners are valuable and which ones are not. If you know all of that, then I would say look at intermediate. And we do have a break in pricing if you sign up for both beginner and intermediate.
Yeah.
So I think that's everything.
Yes. Okay, so will there be replays if I can't make it live? Yes, I touched upon this a little bit earlier in the live for those of you who are
Hmm.
just joining. There will be replays of all of the modules within 24 hours of us doing them. So if you are not available to be on them live, no problem. You will get the recording of it within 24 hours. So there are benefits to being on live, getting to ask questions and, you know, getting to have like that live experience and live chat, but we totally understand that everybody's life happens. So if you can't be there, you will get the replay. We are going to, I had said earlier, work with anybody who signs up for the pilot to make sure that the days of the week and the times are varied and can work for everybody at some point. So, you know, even if you can't make every single one, we want to make sure that everybody can be live at least most of the time.
Yeah. I think that, yeah, I think you guys are going to find that we're going to work with you guys really hard to make this convenient for you, right? The biggest thing that we want is you learning this information. And if you're learning it by just, you know, listening on your drive to and from work, that can work as well. You know, there will be times, I think there's going to be a lot of visuals. So you may want to watch the videos themselves. But we have committed that every time we have a session, it's going to be available to you, an unedited version within 24 hours for the pilot group. You guys are going to have that. We'll edit them up later on, but the pilot group, you guys are going to get everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this person said, is this for total beginners? I have no idea what I'm doing. I love this question. Everyone is a beginner at some point, and
Mhm.
the beginner course is definitely for you if you have no idea what you're doing. We're going to start the first module of the beginners course by talking about like a 101, basically, like what is traveling on points and miles.
Mhm.
It's going to explain to you like what this is, what you're going to do, what's going to happen, and then we're going to dig in deeper. If you already know what this is, that one module will just be a little bit of review for you, and then the rest of the course will be more challenging for beginners. But yes, if whether you feel like you're an advanced beginner or you feel like you're a complete beginner, we are very welcoming to everybody. And, you know, we remember what it was like to be beginners too. So we're here for you to make sure that you feel comfortable. Another question that somebody had asked that's really similar to this one was about if this is going to be very overwhelming. I tried to learn this stuff before and I gave up. So I feel like these two kind of go together. Like whether you've you know, you've never done this before and you're an absolute beginner, or you tried to learn on your own before and you got kind of overwhelmed, this pilot course is going to be great for you because there's going to be kind of like a little bit more hand holding for you. I know sometimes when you just like buy a course and you sit in front of it on your own, you it's kind of like two things happen, right? Like you are responsible for making sure you go through all of the modules in your own time and you're actually doing them. And then maybe when you have a question, you're not really sure what to do next if you don't have access to the course coaches. So you're kind of then like, you know, mad Googling to try to figure out like, okay, I don't understand this. What am I supposed to do? So
Mhm.
if you've ever felt like that in a course before, this is going to be great for you because there's going to be no mad searching. You're going to have us to ask the question to, and we'll make sure to answer all of your questions. And also, if you've ever tried to learn on your own before and you kind of got overwhelmed and gave up, this is going to be great for you as well because you're going to be, like we said, in this kind of cohort with other people who are learning along with you. They're going to help support you. We're going to help support you. Like, we want you to get to the finish line. We want you to get to a point where you are booking a vacation with the points and miles that you have earned, or you're getting close. So, absolutely. If you felt overwhelmed before, if you're an absolute beginner, if you're just like, I have no idea what you're even talking about, what is all of this? Beginner course is definitely for you. And we're going to be here to, you know, help make sure that you get through it and that you feel comfortable with everything.
Yeah, and to go back to the online community that I'm so excited about, right, if you graduate from the intermediate, if you missed that earlier, if you graduate from the intermediate class, you will get access to an online community where you'll be able to ask questions. We'll be answering them. But I forgot to add, we're also committing to once a month live Q&A. So during that Q&A, we'll if there's any like small updates we need to update you guys with that aren't big enough to create a whole module for, we'll update you guys because Points and Miles is always updating. There's always something new. But we'll also be answering questions that you guys submit, right? If you say, hey, I went through this or I tried this and I need more information, we're there to support you. So once a month, it'll either be both or one of us that are going to be answering your questions live.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, I'm just answering someone's question. Sorry. So while I'm doing this, I'll pass you the next question.
Okay.
How much time is it going to take each week?
So I think that one, it's a little harder for us to answer because we're going to be doing them live. And right, there's sometimes you come up where we have actually a module and we have a subject and think it's going to be a little quicker than the others. In my mind, I would like each time we record to be around 40 minutes because I don't want to exhaust you guys. But I think there could be times that that is going to go over because we're going to want to get everything done. And there might even be times we record maybe twice a week. So it is depending, but we're definitely going to be trying to find that medium where we're not overwhelming you guys, but we are giving you enough valuable information each week.
Yeah, so this one goes along with it too. It says how long is the course? So the each of the separate sections are going to be approximately 6 to 8 weeks. So if you do just the beginner or just intermediate, that will be how long it is. If you end up doing both of them, then it'll be 6 to 8 weeks twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, the next one is, can this work for family trips or is it more for couples and luxury stuff? All. It's literally for
Everything.
anybody, no matter what kind of traveler you are. Like I said before, I'm a family traveler. I have 2 kids and a husband. No one will take my kids when I go on a trip. That village that they promised us doesn't exist anymore. Where are my parents at? So if I want to go on a trip, my kids are coming because
Yeah.
there's no one who will take them.
Mhm.
So we do it with a family of 4. We know plenty of people who do it with 5, a family of 6. Like I said earlier in the live, I'm planning a trip for me and my family, my sister and her family of 5, and my parents. So there's going to be 11 of us getting to Italy next summer on Points and Miles. So you can do it with groups that big. You can do it as a couple. Deanna is a couples traveler. Her and her husband, they do a lot of amazing luxury trips. But they're not opposed to like a down and dirty deal as well. So no matter how you like to travel, whether you're more like budget conscious and you're just like, as long as I'm staying somewhere clean and I'm getting where I'm going for as little as possible, I'm good to go, versus I want to be in a lay flat seat, first class, comatose, don't talk to me for the next 6 hours. You can do any of those. Solo travel as well. This can be great for solo travelers because, you can use all of your points to do whatever you want.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people think that, Points and Miles people are just, only doing, lie flat seats and like luxury hotels. And quite honestly, that's because we do, people like me especially will do more videos on that because it gets more traction and that's what people see
It looks
more. Um,
really good on
yes,
Instagram.
it's really good on Instagram. But, we've done it all. I've done it, before I got really big into Points and Miles, right? I would book economy flights and I would use points in some places and use them in other places, but I wasn't using them as smart as I could have been. So the biggest thing is going to be teaching you how to value your points and how to use them in a good way, whether that is stretching them further and flying economy, or if you don't want to open as many cards, booking just the normal everyday hotel versus the hotel that costs $2,000 a night, right? We are going to show you both ways. And if you have interest in one more than the other, you will definitely learn from our course, because that's another reason why, me and Mary teamed up and why we're such a good team, because she does focus on one over the other, but we both know how to find deals each way, right? She knows how to find business class deals, but she prefers to stretch her points further so that she can take her entire family and go on a few more trips as well. But you can move it around to what you want. Even if you have a family and you want to do luxury and want to do only points, we can show you how to maximize your points earned and get there, especially if you travel less. But it's all going to be in the course, all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you have a family and you want to be in business or first, you can absolutely do that on points and miles. I have
Mhm.
a 4 and a 6-year-old. They have no business being in a ginormous lay flat seat, but they are boys, and I have a feeling we're going to get to a point in our travel lives where they're going
Mhm.
to be bigger than me, and they're going to complain about being in an economy seat. So we
Mhm.
probably then are going to shift, but that's the beauty of this, is that no matter where you are in your travel journey, these strategies that you're going to learn, you can leverage them to change things up. So whether you're like, all I want to do is lay on a beach, I don't care what beach it is, just get me there as cheap as possible. Or if you're like, I have to be in an overwater bungalow in the Maldives. Like,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter which type of traveler you are, you can make that happen with points and miles.
Definitely.
Okay, so, oh,
Oh,
sorry,
I
go ahead.
just said
Oh,
definitely. I was agreeing
okay.
with you.
Yeah, so the next one is what if I'm not super techie or good with numbers? Um, so you don't have to be techie or good with numbers really, but you do have to be a little bit organized, because you want to make sure that you are able to keep track of your spending and of your points. Now that can be as simple as logging into your bank's website, because that's where all of this information is going to be housed. You don't have to be using spreadsheets or specialized apps or anything like that. There are certainly people who do that, who like to do that, and they want to have all of their information organized in that way. But there are plenty of people too who will just log into their bank website, take a look at their credit card statement, make sure everything checks out, and they're good to go.
Yeah.
So it's really a lot personalized. It depends on how techy you want to be with it. In terms of being, good with numbers, as long as you can manage your own personal budget, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I will say there's probably more math involved than you guys realize, right? Because you will want to evaluate whether things are a good deal, transfer bonuses, right? But they are very simple. Once we show you guys like the formula and what you need to do for those things, it is pretty simple. I mean, I'm a lawyer, and lawyers are renowned for being bad at math, right? We don't do that at all, and I've got it. Yeah, so as long as you can do some simple math, you're good. You're not going to be doing algebra or anything, but
No.
you will have to do some math, I promise you that, because otherwise you're not doing it right if you're not adding up the numbers.
Yeah, and there are calculators available where you can find the value of your points. Like, you just plug
Yeah,
in
sure.
your points and the cash value, and you can
Hmm.
see, is this a good deal or not. I use those all the time if I'm just like, I need to figure this out quickly. So yeah, you
Hmm.
definitely don't have to be a mathematician, but I would say
Yeah.
you do want to be a little bit organized. You do want to be able
Hmm.
to like track things, be able to do basic math. You
Hmm.
are working with money, so
Definitely.
those things are all important. Um, okay, so the last question is, what exactly will I learn in the course? This was the last one that I got this week from the question, so then we can go back to some of the ones that you guys are asking on here. So like we said earlier, if you either comment course on this video, or if you send us your email address in a DM, we're sending out an email that has all of that information. It has what's going to be talked about in both the beginner and intermediate course. But like we said before, in addition to that, if there are other topics that the pilot group feels are important that they want to dive into, you're going to have the flexibility to do that in the pilot courses. So what we're going to send out to you is the basics of like what we're going to run through for everything, but you will have the opportunity to kind of have a customized experience being live with us in the pilot course.
Yeah. I think you answered everything.
Okay. So the next question on here is, how many credit cards do you need to open to make one trip for a family of 5 work? Well, there are so many ways that you can make one trip for a family of five work. So it's really challenging to answer that question specifically. Um, but for me, for our family of four, um, we sometimes will only need to open like one card to make it work. There are lots of ways to earn points with your everyday spending. So I said this in the very beginning of the live, but I don't think that you were on at that point. But if you're not comfortable opening a ton of credit cards, you don't have to open a ton of credit cards. You can do this as fast or as slow as you want.
Mhm.
So it sort of depends on how quickly do you need to take that
Mhm.
trip? Do you want the trip 100% covered with points and miles, or are you okay paying cash for some of it? Where do you want to go? Are you flexible with it? Are you chasing a deal or are you chasing a destination? And it's kind of like the more flexible you are, the easier and cheaper you can get things. So one of the examples that we said before was my family wanted to plan a trip for the summer, didn't really have an idea of where we felt like going. We found a great deal to London, so we took it. So now we're going to London and Copenhagen because it was
Mhm.
like we found a great deal.
And
We
that
didn't
deal
have
was
to.
only like 6,000 a person, right?
Yep, 6,000
Mhm.
points one way per person from the East Coast to London, which is like
Mhm.
the best deal. Um, and then, we kind of built the trip from there. So you don't have to have all of your points ready at the time that you book one of
Mhm.
the elements either. You can kind of like piece it together like a puzzle as you're going. So,
Mhm.
if you're like, oh, I'm dying to go to Europe, or oh, we just really want to be on a beach, we can help you
Mhm.
figure out how to strategize, how to get there.
Mhm.
um, of course, you will need more points depending on the number of people you're bringing, but there's not like a magic number that's like, oh, you have to have
Mhm.
50,000 points per person to
Mhm.
take a trip. Sometimes you can take a trip with, like we just said, you can get a one-way flight for as few as 6,000 points per
Mhm.
person, which is
Mhm. Yeah.
fantastic. Or you can also take a one-way flight for like 400,000 points per person. We
Yeah.
would never recommend that, but it does exist. So,
Yeah.
so that's kind of what the point of your learning in this course is
Mhm.
going to be. It's going to be, how do you figure out how to stretch your points and miles? How do you figure
Mhm.
out how to stretch your travel budget? How do you find those sweet spots? And Deanna had said earlier that we're also going to be directly sending out deals that we find and alerts and things like that. So if you are a little bit flexible and you're like, I really just feel like going on a trip for like holiday
Mhm.
time or summer, I don't care where I go, we just need to get out
Mhm.
of here.
Yeah.
We can we'll be sending out deals, so you'll be able to
Yeah.
see that too.
Yeah. And I know it's kind of hard because you guys want an answer for that, right? But you can't, it depends on the card. It depends on what kind of points you get. It depends on what kind of welcome offer they have. And it depends on what you book with that. But in theory, right, if you were to find the same deal that Mary found, then that means you could book round trip flights for your family to Europe with one credit
Yeah.
card and still have points left over to cover probably one, maybe 2 nights in a hotel while you're there. So one card can get your whole family a trip, just depending, right? There's a lot of variables, but we're going to show you the tools to make your points go the furthest possible that they can.
Yeah. Okay, so we have one more question. I think both of us can answer this and then maybe we can sign off. But please, please, please do DM us if you have questions that you didn't feel comfortable asking, or if it's like something private, or if you just want more information, DM us as well. We're happy to chat with you. We want you to feel comfortable with us as your guides. And we want you to feel super excited about joining this because we know it's going to change your life. Not to be dramatic, but this really can change your life completely. You can go from somebody who, doesn't really have the budget to even do one vacation a year to somebody
Mhm.
who can travel multiple times a year. And that really can be life changing for, your family, for your mental health, for cultural
Mhm.
experiences, for the whole thing. So the last question we have here, I'll let you go first, but tell me if you're on the spot too much, is what's the best trip you've taken on points and miles?
That's a really hard question
I know.
because
That's why I
I'm one
said,
of the
tell me if
people
you're on
that,
the spot too
yeah,
much.
I'm one of the people that like loves pretty much everywhere I've been. Like almost everywhere I've been, I'm like, oh my God, I'm coming back here. I'll say what I'll say is one of the coolest trips that I took that was completely covered on points and miles. And when I say that, that is all my flights and rooms is we went to Norway last summer And the great thing is I was able to actually invite my friend, her husband, and they brought their son, came along. They also flew business class. So family travel on business class, right? He's like 2 feet tall and was in a lie flat seat. But we flew business class. And when I say business class, I know people get that confused, but it is lie flat seats. So it looks like first class. Most of the time, business class is what you think of first class. And so that's normally the travel that I focus on. Not all the time. We'll go into more detail on that in the course. But we flew business class to Norway. We were able to visit 3 different places in Norway and Amsterdam. Every single one of those hotels was covered on points and the business class flight back. My mom did come out and meet us in Amsterdam as well. So I flew her out on points. And then I was able to surprise her with a business class flight back. So I like that story because it made my brother super jealous that I was the first one to fly my mom business class.
Yeah,
So
and Deanna
she was
has a
able to
really cute
enjoy.
video of her mom on Instagram in her business class seat. So
Yeah. So
you gotta go check that out too.
yeah, and I've done a lot lately. I mean, and I just got back from, we did Doha, Maldives, and Singapore. We flew Qatar Q Suites to Doha. We flew first class from Doha to Maldives. We flew business class Maldives to Singapore. Our hotel in Singapore completely covered on points. And then business class on a 16-hour flight, which you would normally dread. We were able to book that on flights back to LA. So, I mean, Mary is not exaggerating when she says learning all of this stuff is going to change your life. It really is going to change your life. I mean, the way I travel, being able to travel as much as I am now, is just, it's a completely different world.
Yeah, it really is. Like I can even give you an example. One of my best friends was going to Hawaii for a cruise with her husband, and she came to me and she said, "We really want to go first class to Hawaii. Is there any way that this can happen?" And they were flying from the East Coast from New Jersey. And I was like, "Yeah, let's figure this out." So we looked at it, we made a strategy. She only had to open one card, and she was in a lie flat seat from the East Coast to Hawaii, which is like a direct flight, like 11 hours or something like that.
Mhm.
And she said that like she can never go back to regular life now.
Like,
Like
yeah,
she
yeah,
was just
that's the
like,
only
how
thing.
can I ever get back in like a coach seat after that?
Yeah, that's the only thing I will warn you against. Be prepared to get really deep into the game once you fly business class because you'll never want to go back. And my husband will probably divorce me if we ever went back because he's gotten so bougie now.
It's true. Even like the little things that you get, like the first time that I was in business class, I was like, they're giving me warm nuts and like a moist towel. Like what? Because I feel like, sometimes you can be treated not great on a plane. And so
Yeah,
when you start to get like the nice treatment, you're like, oh wow,
yeah,
like I'm so fancy. Look at
yeah,
me. And
yeah.
like we're not like, really that fancy. So like, when you get something like that, you're just like, ooh, I'm so special. But my so I don't know. I feel like the trip that I'm most proud of that I took on Points and Miles was I took my family of four, the four of us, to Hawaii for my birthday for 2 weeks for $67.20 total. The total
That's
for
so amazing.
2 weeks. So that's the trip I'm most proud of because I'm talking flights, hotels, um, all of it. And we went to 2 different islands. We went to Oahu and Maui. On Oahu, we stayed in a hotel. In Maui, we stayed in like a condo community. And the total for the whole trip was $67.20. And I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to figure out how to make that happen.
Mhm.
And you really like feel good and kind of pat yourself on the back a little bit when you get like a really good redemption. You're like, yes, I just killed this.
Mhm.
But especially when you're a family traveler, not all of your redemptions are going to be like the sexy lie flat seats and things like that, but you will be so happy that you're saving all of this money that you can use for future trips or other things.
And creating all
And
these
yeah,
memories, right, with your
yes,
family and your kids and everything.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but
And then the
yeah,
last thing that somebody asked is if we're going to tell you how we booked all of this. Yes, of course. We are
we'll
going to
go through
teach you
everything.
to do it. We're going to tell
Mhm.
you how we did it. we're going to help you figure out how to do yours though, because
Mhm.
like my dream for that birthday was to go to Hawaii from the East Coast. My parents went there for their honeymoon and I always wanted to go and I had never gotten to go. So I was just
Mhm.
like, this is what I want to do for this birthday. It was a
Mhm.
milestone. So I figured out how to make it happen. So that was what I
Mhm.
really wanted. And then it's like, once you do it, you're like, well, now I can have a new dream. So it's like every
Yeah.
year you can be taking a bucket list trip. It's like, you're not
Mhm.
taking these once in a lifetime trips once in a lifetime. You can take a
Mhm.
once in a lifetime trip every year. And
Yeah.
like we said before, it really like changes your perspective, helps you with your budget, helps you, like do these things that you maybe thought you'd never be able to do.
Yeah. You actually, yeah, I just realized in my head, and mind you, I'm crazy this year. I'm completely insane this year. But we're going to have visited 7 countries this year because of points and miles. And that's going to be even before the fall. And it was,
Wait a second. I think
yeah,
we might be close to that too
yeah,
by the end of the year. I'm gonna have to count it up.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, you're right. I think we might be like in that
Hmm.
range as well. I know, it's crazy. And of course, when you start doing this, you're like, like I've been talking about how we're going to London in the summer. When I booked that London flight, I was like, I could just pop over to Denmark,
Yeah.
like like no big deal.
Yeah. I know. And then what I'll tell people is, at the beginning, right, there's going to be a learning curve and you might feel a little bit frustrated, but our whole goal is to get you past that into where we are, the excitement, where you love finding a good deal. You love figuring it out. Your family wants to go to a particular place or you want to take, your husband or wife to their favorite place for a special destination. We're going to show you how to do all of that. And when we book a really good deal, we're going to be so excited to share that with you guys. We're going to say, hey, look, I just booked this flight to London. Here it is. And if there's more available, you guys are going to get the alert
Yeah,
like,
totally.
hey, this is what's going on if you can book this. And it's not that rare. I think you guys will find that you can find those good deals. Um, we both are affiliates with Thrifty Traveler, for example, and they're sending out deals multiple times a week.
Every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, every single day you're getting all of these deals, and that's because they're out there and you guys can book it. You guys can be getting these crazy good points deals, whether it's economy or business class. But we're going to be showing you guys how to evaluate whether it's a good deal, whether you should be jumping on it, and how to find, however restrictive you are, what to look for.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to wrap things up now, but thank you guys so much for joining us
Mhm.
live. Like I said before, we would love to have you in the Mad Miles Masterclass. Please
Mhm.
comment on here course or DM us your email address if you want to get all of the info. We are collecting interest now, and then we're going to be starting with the course very soon. And if you have any questions, you can DM either one of us. We're always available to answer your questions, and we'd love to see you in the masterclass.
Yeah, we're super excited about this, as you guys can probably tell, and I hope that that comes across for you guys. And like I said, one of our goals here is to help you. We just want to help you guys travel more. We want you guys to learn. We want this to be valuable. That's why we're pricing it so low, so that you guys can help us and we can help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys
Okay.
next time. Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.